It's Nolan. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome to another episode of Inside the Industry with, of course, J Nolan. Today we're going to be talking about Wyclef Jean and music publishing and why it's so vital. Now, as y'all know, I'm an artist and a songwriter myself. I've done numerous videos talking about publishing and the effect of publishing and how that creates long-term money for songwriters, right? I've talked about how sampling in hip-hop creates long-term money for the original creators, not only the people that own the songs, but also the songwriters on those records or any publishers or whoever's on the records. So today we're going to be talking about Wyclef Jean, the Fugees, and how they had to pay $8 million for their hit song, Killing Me Softly. It's over $8 million now. So just imagine, had they written everything themselves, written that hook, come up with their own original composition, they would have just been able to split more money amongst themselves. However, over the years, the original writer made over $8 million. It's a lot of money. I'm sure all of them would love to have that. You know what I'm saying? Miss Lauryn Hill, she went through tax issues. She had to perform her way out of her debt. An additional $8 million amongst the crew. I'm sure she would have loved that when she was going through her situation. Okay? Now, before we get into it, I do want to go ahead and thank one of the supporters out there, one of my insiders. Okay, shout out to Tamika. She sent 25 via Cash App, and I definitely want to make sure that you get your proper recognition, love, and respect. We greatly appreciate it, and I'm gonna do better with that as well. So anybody, if you happen to send any kind of donations via Cash App, I will acknowledge you in video and shout you out. Much love and respect to you and your family. All right. And of course, if you happen to do super chats while we're premiering and stuff like that, I will also get in the comments and thank you. And moving forward, I'm going to start shouting everybody out from the previous video. So if you put it in there, you're going to get a shout out in the next video. Now, I'm not saying that I'm incentivizing shout outs. I'm just saying, if you show love over here and you put a financial contribution in, I want to make sure that you get acknowledged. That's all I'm saying. Okay? So going into Wyclef's story, let's go ahead and just pull up the audio and let Wyclef tell it himself, shall we?
It's like globally. Where did you learn the music business from?
It's so funny that you say that. So we're in 2024 now, right? Right. And I was looking and I was like, oh, wow. Over 1 billion views for Shakira Hips Don't Lie, right? Then I was like, okay, over 1 billion views for Avicii. Avicii's my guy. He actually started EDM. He was a genius. And this is what I want kids to know. This is the facts. So we produced Killing Me Softly. Miss Hill, a.k.a. El Boogie, sang it. Killing Me Softly, before my generation, was the Roberta Flack generation. And y'all know the Lauryn Hill version, right? So
just for clarification, I'm going to stop Wyclef just to make sure everybody understands. Killing Me Softly by the Fugees is an interpolation of Roberta Flack. Let me make sure I pull up the information, right? Because we need to know the name of the original Roberta Flack record if we're going to give it credit. Okay? So, Killing Me Softly with his song, which is an interpretation of somebody else's music too, by the way, but we'll get to that shortly. So the Roberta Flack version is, what is the name of her song? Killing Me Softly with his song, right? Roberta Flack first heard this song on an airplane where she heard the original playing through an audio program. So even she was like a cover. Even her version was a cover. But who was the original songwriter? We don't know. We're going to get into that today, right? So they grew up hearing this record, her version. They decided they wanted to sing it on their album, right? And make a rap song and then sing it on the hook. They didn't know no better, but this is what led to them having to pay. Okay, just wanted to make sure that we gave Roberta Flack her proper credit in the real time. So let's get back to Wyclef.
Wrote it. We ain't write the shit. So here goes the game. Now we're going to get into financial literacy. Let's talk about it. So here goes the game. We ain't write it, but we performed it. Right. And it was amazing. And we made somebody $8 million. Right? So that means that whoever was the composer who wrote it was literally sleeping in his bed and he made $8 million like that, right? And then now look at how big that version is. So that.
All right. So he said somebody who they don't know who wrote it either. That's the game. Because a lot of times we don't know who wrote the original records. All we know is what we hear on the radio, what we hear in streaming, what we hear in public places. And it's like, ooh, that's it. I want to flip that. You go flip it. Then you submit it to your label, whoever you're working with. They go to the Harry Fox agency and they start looking around like, hey, man, who do we got to pay to get this thing cleared? And you find out, shit, maybe the original person, the original artist you heard might not be the writer. A lot of cases they not. But then you may have 5 writers. You might have musicians that are credited as writers. All of these people got to be paid. All these people got to sign off on release forms and all types of stuff in order for it to be cleared. The shit could get muddy and you could be finding yourself out of a lot of money. Now, the song Killing Me Softly with His Song was composed by Charles Fox with lyrics by Norman Gimbel. Okay? So they are definitely being paid, or anybody that represents them or runs their estate is who got paid. The song was also written in collaboration with Lori Lieberman after she was inspired by a Don McLean performance in 1971. So we're going all the way back to 1971 to look this thing up. And then in 1973, it became a #1 hit in the United States, Australia, and Canada for Roberta Flack. So now all of these people are getting paid off this. You know what I mean? Well, not Roberta Flack. She might have got paid off of something down the pipeline, but she probably didn't own the record and she didn't originally write it. So, but she might have got a little kickback. In 1996, the Fugees come along with their version. It becomes a huge hit, huge success. Again, the music industry gonna learn you something.
That person copyright has generated them millions and millions of dollars. So this is the game. So royalties, but bigger than royalties, publishing. The game is to own your own copyright and your own composition. The game is the power of licensing. Dig, your publishing is your real estate. So your publishing is your real estate game. Because you know how once you invest in real estate, it could be 30 years down from now. Like you still gonna get money from that property. You could flip it, whatever you want to do. So in saying that, I was like, okay, I need to be on the other side of the game. I need to be on the side of when I'm 54, I could be sleeping. And then I don't have to worry about picking up an instrument. Then I don't have to worry about picking up an instrument. So I'll just give you one example. So the phone goes off. Yo, man, what's up, my brother? You know we the best, right? Reggie, what happened, Khaled? We go way back, right, to Days of Shadows.
Exactly.
He said, yo.
He was skinny.
Yeah, and then, so my brother is very excited when he has visions. Yo, I got this vision, man. Remember the song you wrote? Maria, man. I got this vision, you know. Think you could get Santana and boom, 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 right? But I own the majority of the song.
Boom. I'm going to stop right there. We're going to come back to Wyclef. So he tells y'all, based on them interpolating the original lyrics of the Killing Me Softly with His Song, they had to pay out somebody who I'm sure he knows today who that person is, but he didn't name him, made $8 million off of their work, right? And this song became a massive hit. They went on to perform this shit for years. They still go out and perform this music to this day. $8 million in the hole they had to give out. So now, on the flip side, he says, damn, I ain't going to keep doing it. I can't keep going through that. Hell, the name of the game, I want to keep my motherfucking money, right? So I need to be writing all of the songs. I need to be taking control. I need to be making sure that my creativity is on full display. So later down the line in life, when people decide if or when they decide that they want to sample my songs, because let's just say Killing Me Softly, their version, the Fugees version, if that gets sampled, they'll get a portion of it. But then those original writers from the 70s also are going to get paid from it. So you're not going to get your full credit. You're not going to get your full, payday, which let that happen to you enough times, you're going to start getting pissed off. Like, I'm tired of sharing money with motherfuckers who ain't really had nothing to do with what the fuck I'm doing. So now you fast forward, DJ Khaled hits his line like, yo, that Maria shit you did with Carlos Santana. Hey man, can you get him on board? I got an idea, right? So now the tables are turning where Wyclef is finna get his big payday off of DJ Khaled.
So I hit up the Godfather, Santana, and I just put him with Khaled, right? So, but keep in mind, the actual composition itself, right, is a Wyclef Jerry Wonder composition. Mm-hmm. So that means that now we're talking big now. Because we own the building. Mm-hmm. So now you gotta pay rent for the building. So now watch this. So now, of course, DJ Khaled gets Rihanna, Bryson Tiller. Amazing, makes the shit a hit. I was a baby and I sat on the keyboard and was like, doom, 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 right? Now, what does that mean? That's 1 billion streams. So what does that mean? When I'm at the Super Bowl and there's countless images of this thing. Mm-hmm. So you look at it and say, well, what does that mean? Every time that it could be 1 billion streams of Khaled and Rihanna, but the composition itself is the real estate.
All right. So if you're not picking up what he's putting down, he's saying 1 billion streams later, they got to pay rent for the building, basically saying y'all sampled and interpolated my original composition because Wyclef produced the record and did a lot of the writing on the record, right? So that 1 billion streams, that's a kickback for him. It gets licensed for anything. Super Bowl gets licensed for commercials. Remember, Wild Thoughts was a very popular song back in, 2017? Yeah, 2017. Wild Thoughts featuring Rihanna, Bryson Tiller. One of the last Rihanna records we got. So just think about that. You know what I mean? Like, on the way out, she went ahead and gave us that. Okay? So Wild Thoughts is a mid-tempo pop song with Latin percussion, slinky guitars, blah, blah, blah. The song heavily samples the guitar riff from Santana's 1999 Maria Maria, which features the product GMB. But of course, again, Wyclef produced and wrote the majority of the record. And it also features him, very prolific, well, not prolifically, but features him in the ad-libs and different areas within the song as well. You get what I'm saying? Now let's just look at the success of the record itself. He already said it had like 1 billion streams, but let's just look at the commercial performance. The song debuted at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, sold 89,000 digital copies and 36 million streams. Just right out the gate, it hit like that. Okay. Song became Khaled and Tiller's first number 1 song on the Dance Club's chart and Rihanna's 31st. So it's a pretty massive record. Hit all types of charts. It's 6 million sold 6 million records in totality since the day it dropped. 6 times platinum. So you could imagine Wyclef definitely got a lot of money on the back end of this song that he didn't have to be in the studio for. He didn't have to go tell Khaled what to do with the song. He didn't tell them how to make it. He didn't write Rihanna and Bryson Tiller's parts. All he knows is another one, another one. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the position of power that you get to be in the industry when you actually own your publishing, right? He said this is your real estate, right? As an artist that writes your own records, and hey, no shots to any artist out there that does not or cannot write your own music. That's your business. Do what you do. But the upside when you have that skill set is that you're always gonna stay paid, right? If somebody decides to use your song in a movie, in an advertisement, a commercial, TV show, right? Those are just a few ways you're going to get paid, right? And you can get paid on both sides if you own the master. That's a whole other thing. People that are signed to record deals most likely don't own their masters. Some do. But at the very least on the publishing side, you could be getting very handsomely paid, especially for a big record like a Wild Thoughts. When a TV company or a film company or whatever comes to you, they're pretty much at your mercy. They say, hey, how much would you charge us to use this song? And you name your price. And they can say, well, we don't have it, or we're going to make a way. And they make it happen. So just a quick lesson for all of my aspiring artists out there. The skill set, everybody wants to be a performer. Everybody wants to be a superstar. Everybody wants to be that thing. But invest time into actually perfecting your craft. Invest time into making the best possible songs that you can, writing them yourself. Nothing wrong with receiving help. Nothing wrong with, splitting some of those credits. But you want to be in those credits, right? This is why we had the conversation a couple weeks ago about Tiffany Red talking about Beyonce and saying, hey, would you mind cutting your songwriters in on more portions of the writing? You're not actually writing the record. You may have ideas, but a lot of these songs that you have, they were already made. They were already created. They were already fully fleshed out. All you did was go in the studio and sing them. Might have changed a word or two here or there, but it was already there. Would you mind not taking so much credit from your writers? Because they need to get paid and they need to survive and have livable wages too, right? And a lot of people jumped on her head because, of course, Tiffany Red is not a big star. I've disagreed with some of her other stances that she's put out. But in that sentiment, the power or the longevity is in the publishing. Because if they continue to play your songs 40 years down the line after you dead, you can still be generating royalties that can be passed along to your family, right? So that's why this stuff is so important. When it comes to ownership, a lot of people in this industry, they come in not knowing no better. They're not educated about the system. They're not educated on how the business works. You find yourself in a compromising position. You might be working at Kroger, Publix, working at Bank of America, whatever, and you're getting by, but then you get approached with these sheets of paper that gonna change your life. But sometimes it ain't always gonna change your life for the better because the people passing it to you already know what the potential is. You don't know what your potential is, and you don't know what your potential value is to these people, right? So you're always in a push and pull. But at the bare minimum, if you're able to write your songs and retain your publishing and not sell it to somebody else who's going to lowball you, and then they're going to be the beneficiaries of whatever success you have, because that's another angle too, taking that pub deal. Take you right out of your lifelong policy of making bread, okay? So I don't want to stay here too long. But shout out to Wyclef John. I appreciate you for actually talking about this. Hopefully people are taking notes. If you're not in the music industry and you're not into all of that type of stuff, hey, the more you know, okay? I'm about to sign out. Much love and respect. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the post notification bell for all updates, and I will see y'all on the next one, all right? Much love and respect. I got one more video dropping. We're going to be going in a little bit on Joe Budden, so tune in for that shortly. Okay? Much love and respect, y'all. Peace. Yeah.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda, we hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer, we come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some batteries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.